Take a trip with us to Nilbog. Just promise not to drink the goo.
Oh my God!
If you get sucked into the Matrix, we will send a phone for you.
Do you believe in fate?
But every movie has a plot hole, and every hole gets filled somehow with whiskey, wine, or blue milk. Just don't cut me off right now. We're the Plotaholics, a breakfast club of two. We're the Plotaholics, ripping plots apart for you.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Plotaholics podcast. I'm Shane Wilson, and I'm joined as always by the talking ass to my Bobcat, Brian Tan. Brian, welcome into just what I am sure is going to be just a rip-roaring romp.
You're just
through...
so I can feel your condescension in that.
Well, I think what's so great is what I did not realize before I watched To Trot, which is this week's advertised content, is that this film, and Brian, you may not know this either, this film is what so many romance novels are based on. The flowing hair, the muscled up protagonist on horseback. I mean, like, this is the model of every romance novel I've ever seen.
Why isn't this on a book cover? Like,
I thought it was.
We both know romance writers.
Yeah.
Why aren't any of you ladies putting this on your book covers?
I have a real question.
Okay. Dude, you're coming out the gate swinging for the fences, and I love it.
We've talked about a lot of movies here, and obviously I'll sort of run down some of the greatest hits of some of our like mutually hated films, right? I was not a fan of No Holds Barred, but I can understand why that movie exists because of Hulk Hogan, right?
Yes.
It would make sense to say Hulk Hogan should be in this movie called No Holds Barred. You know what I mean? Like that,
right?
Totally
Especially,
on brand.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked with anybody but him.
Neil Breen's Fateful Findings, which is one that you hate, but I understand why that movie exists, and that's because Neil Breen is a freaking narcissist and has a bunch of money.
Right. God, every time you say that movie's name, I just shudder.
I would also point to The Bubble, which is a more recent film that you disliked, but I can understand why that movie exists based on who wrote it and directed it and the cast, right? Like all of these things, we can explain these films. What I cannot understand is why anyone looked at this script and thought, A, definitely want Bobcat Goldthwait in this as the romantic lead. And B, like, why did anybody ever look at this movie and decide, yeah, I think that I want to spend a significant part of my life making this?
Because, for one, Bobcat Goldthwait was at the height of his powers at this time, I think.
I mean, I can understand that, but I still just like, it's like, oh man, I don't even know what it's like. It's like saying like, okay, in like 2003, right? They're like, oh, freaking Adam Sandler is really riding high right now. You know what? I think that we should take this opportunity and really use the Sandman as an action hero. Do you think we can get Adam Sandler in freaking Con Air? Like, even though Con Air I know is before 2003, but you know what I mean? Like, it's that sort of like...
It's that sort of energy.
Bobcat Goldthwait freaking like is the most perplexing fucking person I have ever watched in film. Like Hulk Hogan, who is sort of the other touchstone here. That's the other movie that made me feel this way that you assigned for homework. But at the same time, like Hulk Hogan acted in that film exactly the way Hulk Hogan would
He
act,
was
right?
Hulk Hogan. Yeah, he was Hulk Hogan.
And now, given Bobcat Goldthwait is also Bobcat Goldthwait in this movie, right? But they're not asking Hulk Hogan to be anything other than Hulk Hogan. Here, they're asking Bobcat Goldthwait to be like a romantic, like someone that like this woman falls for this guy.
How?
Like he wins the day. Like not only does he win the day, like in spectacular fashion, in the most ridiculous freaking horse chase. I mean, Chariots of Fire. This is not, but like he also gets the woman. It has to be because he's loaded at the end of the movie, right?
I mean,
but she kind of vibed with him from the top. Like I just don't.
Anyway. I haven't. You know, here's the thing, Shane. I'm going into my 43rd rotation on this planet. And
I thought you were going to say 43rd viewing of this film, and I was going to ask what is happening in your life, and are you okay?
You know, since I bought, you know what? I found this movie on DVD a few months ago, which is why I suggested it.
Yeah. What did you pay for this?
Crap! I'll tell you.
To own this in your own personal collection.
Okay, hold on. I'll tell you. I'll tell you exactly. Let me go back to my Amazon page.
Because I rented it for $4, and that's well worth the price just to get it the fuck out of here after 48 hours.
Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Let me see. There. I bought the Eternals back in March. Elden Ring in February. Where are we at?
How's that going, by the way, Elden Ring? Michelle wanted me to ask you how.
So mad. I'm getting so mad at that game. Like my son tried it and was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, man.
Brian Jr. was like,
I'll tell you, man, Michelle stays grinding on that thing. She gets frustrated with it too, but she's still grinding it.
I don't have the patience to grind it that much, but I probably am gonna try it because like she was real excited. She goes, I finally beat Godric. And I'm like, holy crap, just now?
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, like she's after it. But she is on the grind, and she has discovered some of the new magic things. You know, the thing that the game does badly that I have noticed as I've done some backseat gaming with her, is that it doesn't tell you shit, dude. Like,
no, you just go in and play.
You are on your own.
Go in. I mean, honestly, I do want to get back to it, but MLB The Show 22 came out, and then between that and WWE 22. I don't know, but
these are games that are like designed to give you instant gratification, whereas you have to be a little bit of a masochist to want to keep playing Elden Ring.
Well, I'm actually thinking about pre-ordering The Quarry because it kind of gives me a Hard Rain feel, and it's supposed to have like 186 total endings, so I'm definitely gonna go. I'm probably gonna get that. But to answer your initial question, I paid $10.59 for Hot to Trot in January of 2022.
Now, when you ordered that film, how long had it been since you initially watched it? Or how long had it been since you've seen it for the last previous time?
Well, as Miss Odette photobombs, I don't think I've seen that movie since 1991-ish. Because I know it was among the movies that I had on VHS that I recorded.
Okay, so when you watched it in 1991, you would have been around what age?
12. I would have been about 12 years old.
So sort of the target demo.
Pretty much, yeah.
Did you love it?
I loved Bobcat Goldthwait, and I loved John Candy, and I loved the idea of a talking horse, and I thought some of the jokes were really hilarious. So I enjoyed it. And then I watched it back in January, and I think I watched it again with Sharon about a month and a half ago.
Mm-hmm. And
Sharon's just looking at it and then looking at me and just goes, why?
Bobcat Goldthwait. I love Bobcat Goldthwait, and probably not probably not for any of the reasons that he wants me to. I just, so do you want to give the folks a little synopsis on this before we get too far into it?
Yeah, sure. As Odette wants affection, so I'm happy to give it to her.
Ivy wants some too, but yeah, I'm ignoring her right now.
You're ready to just kick her out of a window.
Right. I don't know. Here she comes. She must have heard her name.
She heard Odette was getting affection. Then she heard her name. She's like, come on, Pop. So, hot to trot. In this film, young Fred P. Cheney has just suffered the loss of his mother. And all that he's gotten from his stepfather is the realization that he's been cheating on his mom for forever, a horrible buyout of his end of his family business, and a horse and a camper. Ironically enough, this horse comes with the voice and sass of one John Aloysius Candy. And hijinks, they do ensue. There is the synopsis from your favorite Brian Tan and mine, Brian Tan.
I actually really like that. Okay. We've talked a lot lately about movies that the premise was too thin to warrant its runtime.
Yeah.
And I would argue that this is in that camp as well.
Yeah, but it's not. Its runtime isn't.
I know.
Its runtime.
Painful. Its runtime is.
As others.
Is it not? I mean, it's not. You don't have to sit through it as long. But I found myself so like with the bubble, right? We said 2 hours too long, right? Yes. That we were in it for about an hour and then we checked out about midway through.
Pretty much.
I would argue here I was with it for about 15 minutes before I started looking for the eject button, right? And so I would argue.
I guess there's no Karen Gillan faux masturbation scene to keep the interest going.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, look, this is the thing, right? These guys are both funny, doing what they do. I thought that the funniest joke in the whole movie was when he went to see the horse family and they had a human shoe above the door. I thought that.
That is great.
I thought that was fantastic.
Right.
But I just felt like there were so many times where I thought.
I always wondered how those horses pay bills to have a TV.
Right. So like Don gives us this long spiel about like his history and how he came to be where he was. Just fluff, right? There was a whole party thrown in the penthouse with a bunch of random animals showing up and like destroying the penthouse. Again, like just completely fluff, like completely unnecessary. It never comes back. Like there's not any like there's not fallout because of that. It's just all for gags.
He got kicked out of his apartment for that.
Oh, well, that shows how much I paid attention, right?
I just think it's funny, though, is that we also got a mini reunion of Bobcat Goldthwait and Tim Krasinski, who were both in Police Academy as Sweet Chuck and Zed. And they really were among the breakout characters, because you figure in the very first Police Academy, you obviously have the cast of that gem. And then in part 2, you get the Sweet Chuck character and Zed character who had some amazing chemistry, and that chemistry carried through to the third movie and the fourth movie, and then they were gone.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. I mean, it just... I'll be completely honest. I don't have a whole lot to say about it.
No, like you didn't.
I mean, I pretty much said what I had to say.
What about Dabney Coleman? You weren't a fan of Dabney Coleman and how much of a sleazeball he was?
I mean, I think so. As I look at this, the plot is basically, it's an insider trading story.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Where all of the hot tips are coming from the horse, right? And then obviously that falls apart because one of his hot tips.
Bad oats. Yeah, he buys the oats, and it turns out it makes the horse sick.
Yeah, and so then he ends up. I suppose he sells. Does he sell his shares of the business? I don't know. I was not paying attention at this point.
He basically took a huge wash because of it. So
yeah,
the market crashed on him, and he had nothing left.
Yeah.
So then they have the horse race for him to get the company back.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
He was buying these. The company itself is an investment firm.
Yes.
And so he's buying these shares for who?
He's telling everyone to buy the shares.
Right.
He's
Okay.
making a suggestion. So I guess with those investment
So he gets a
firms,
commission off of how well they do.
correct. Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's why he started. Yeah. Basically, when they buy them and they hit, he gets a commission. And when the shares drop, he loses money.
Well, okay. Well, then they're all sleaze bags because that's such a fucking racket anyway. Like as a business, you know. So
Well,
I hope that they all go bankrupt. Oh, for sure. So like it's hard to pull for a Wall Street guy, and I know that Bobcat Goldthwait's not a Wall Street guy traditionally in this film, right? Like he is handed this as the result of like a shitty contract because initially, like before his mom's death, like she had given him or they had given him part of the shares to keep all of it from going to one place, right?
Right.
And to like to introduce some sort of accountability. And then when his mom dies, Dad wants to buy all the shares from him for $525. Sorry, Stepdad wants to buy all of his shares for $525.
And that's cash, mostly cash.
Right, mostly cash. And Dad or Stepdad rather is banging some other chick that he has always taken to the stables, and Horse John Candy.
Yeah, Horse Candy.
Horse Candy is Horse Candy likes to watch.
Yeah, he's pretty gross.
And I was actually pleasantly surprised at how reserved the writers of this film were. There was only one horse cock joke in the whole thing that I could tell. And that's when he tells that one drunk woman that it's the same size even after he goes swimming.
Yeah. That woman was gross too. She was so nasty.
Pretty gross. She was pretty gross.
You
know who she reminded me of?
Who?
She reminded me of the mother from Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you really must simply tell them like that very like grandiose, over the top sort of dialogue.
Oh, you must.
Right. She had real big mother energy, or whoever that character was.
Shout out to our good friend MEG Meg.
That's right.
I got honestly what really made me excited was that so I was super excited that my son wanted to watch Basket Case, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, I gotta have him watch Sleepaway Camp, but he's not into horror.
Mm-hmm.
Like Basket Case isn't frightening at all.
Right.
It's really campy.
Yeah. Sleepaway Camp is like a whole other thing.
Right. So I don't think he'd like it, but I kind of want him to watch it. So every time Meg is on screen, go check it out. It's one of Dad's friends. Dad interviewed her once. Like, I think I'm going to have him watch Velocipaster.
I feel like that's a good one.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like.
I feel like the ending of Sleepaway Camp is like a whole situation.
My poor kid is gonna be so traumatized by the ending of Sleepaway Camp.
I mean, I was traumatized by the end of Sleepaway Camp, and I was a grown ass man when I watched it.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, so I think maybe he'll have to watch Velocipaster, and I'm still waiting for us to get the rights for the sequel, Rabidactyl.
Oh my God, I know what is going on with the sequel to this thing.
And why isn't it called Rabidactyl?
I don't know. Wasn't it like about a vampire in the outback?
Probably.
Outback Dracula or something, or did I make that up?
Drakback.
I think it's about a gay vampire in the Australian outback, but I could be wrong. I'm also about to have to crate Ivy because she is being particularly moody today.
She's being very Harvard with you right now. See what I did there?
Yeah,
she's being
for sure.
Ivy League.
She's being Ivy League for sure. Let's check in with Ivy Cam real quick and just to see how things are going over in that side of the room.
Yeah, she cleaning herself? No. Oh, dude, she's like a horror movie character except in reverse. She was like right at the chair, and now she's further back.
Right.
Why does she look like a malnourished coyote?
I mean, because she's a Chihuahua, I guess, is the only real answer for that.
That makes sense. Okay, that checks out. Like seriously, she kind of reminds me of a coyote, but it just needs to be fed.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with her today because she usually just kind of like hangs out in that chair, you know.
Right. I think
But
she's more like. I think she's probably in that. I'm not your performing coyote.
right, exactly.
She's
Uh,
kind of in that mode.
yeah. So
She's
let's see. What else is
so
there to
all
say about
right.
horse candy and
Bur-
company?
Burgess Meredith as the dad, and the dad like he can't tell male humans from female humans when they're clothed,
Right.
which that's kind of funny because we can't tell different animals by their sex unless we glare at their genitals. So I mean, I think the best part about the movie is the horses. Like the people are just like this is one of those phoned it in 80s comedies,
Totally. Like
and
from
like
top to bottom, it is phoned in. And honestly, like obviously this thing doesn't even exist if it's not for the horses because the story is not that compelling. But also,
right, this is going to be our lowest rated episode ever.
it may also be our shortest. But like
I think
also,
so.
why horses? Like
Why not cats?
why not nothing? why not Why
Why
not
was this
somebody?
even made?
Why was somebody not just like, you know what? I don't think so. Like somebody in Hollywood needed to be like, nah, I think we're gonna pass on this one because think of all of the great movies that are passed on that have to be made independently.
Right, and we got this is what we got.
This is what we got.
I
And
mean,
let's see. The budget for this thing was $9 million, which I have to assume almost all went to getting horses and fishing line to make their lips move. Uh,
yeah, I think that John Candy had like he had some commitments that he needed to fulfill. That's how they got him. Gilbert Godfrey wasn't really at the height of his powers yet. We
There
got
you
we
go.
got a
There's
nice
another one. I thought, wow, they're just like really collecting all the annoying voice guys for this one.
yeah. Well, I figure Gilbert Godfrey, who makes a cameo as a dentist at the end. Um, I think yeah, you threw the the most annoying voice in Hollywood ever to exist into this spot. I think the only thing this movie was missing was maybe some Rodney Dangerfield.
Honestly, I really wish that Gilbert Gottfried had played the horse because
I would have been on board with that.
because
I
I
would have
feel
been
like
on.
John Candy is just like is wasted here because he doesn't get to do any of the physical stuff. It like and his
That makes
delivery as a voice
yeah,
actor is pretty like
blank.
basic.
Yeah, basically, you get John Candy without what makes John Candy great. Because John Candy is one of those. You get some actors that can do voice work,
Yeah.
and then you get some actors that are really good at physical comedy. John Candy was good at the physical comedy, and his voice just added to it. The laugh, especially
Yeah.
that laugh, was really great. But when it's just his voice, it's kind of like,
He's just
all right,
like he sounds like a super wholesome dude. There's just nothing like he should be playing the straight man, right? Like it should really be the two roles should be reversed.
right. It's kind of like, yeah, I think it would have been a lot better if I think you're absolutely right. That would
Because
have been a lot
Bobcat
better.
has the more cartoonish voice, right? Uh,
Right.
and that would make the horse more entertaining.
I agree.
In
I
fact,
totally agree.
give me Bobcat as Don, and then let Gilbert Godfrey be the dad.
Yeah. Why do we need Burgess Meredith to be involved in this?
Yeah,
Like,
I
do we
think
really
that and then even that, right? Let Gilbert Godfrey be the dad and then keep the like incarnation joke where he's a horsefly next, but then show the
yeah.
horsefly getting swatted and killed and then let Gilbert Godfrey still be the dentist, right? Like because this time he was reincarnated as a better thing because he actually helped his son.
I would not be against that. Oh, what the hell? Okay.
Because then we get to
Sorry, go ahead.
maximize
Fair
our
enough.
Godfrey.
Oh, I mean, honestly, what's more Gilbert Godfrey is never a bad thing in the right dose.
Yeah,
Like,
so
honestly, I kind of wish maybe we should have done a Problem Child so we could have had Gilbert Godfrey in that.
Yeah. The reception for this film, obviously, it was a box office bomb. Like I mentioned, it was a $9 million budget. It only made $6.5 million at the box office. Um,
Yeah.
the
0% tomato meter score.
So
Which is
now listen,
hilarious.
here's some production notes that I think are kind of interesting. After Pee-wee's Big Adventure had some success, Warner Brothers offered this movie to Tim Burton, but he turned it down. See, that's what I'm talking about. We need more people to say no to this kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, I guarantee you a Tim Burton version of this movie would have been better.
Yeah, I think so, because it would have been a much darker film. Maybe at one point Fred flips out and comically kills Sawyer and feeds him to Dawn.
You know who would have been the perfect straight guy in this? Like the perfect like replacement for Bobcat would have been Ben Stiller.
A young Ben Stiller in this role would have been good.
Yeah, because he has the ability like that, like slow freak out that Ben Stiller's so good at would have been really at home in this film.
I think the one part of this movie that really, really got me was the scene where Fred and Dawn are in his apartment and they're just hanging out and shooting the shit.
Yeah.
And they're telling their silly stories. I'm like, how are you really relating to each other like this? Like, how does this happen? Like, what is it about this?
He was pretty quick to like come around, right?
Yeah, he really was. But I don't know. It's kind of weird to me. It was so like, you know, he was like, so I wake up, I'm butt naked, everyone's looking at me, and that was the last time I ever drank tequila. It's like, okay.
Well, so I'll say this, for all of my hatred of the film, and there's some, I will admit that there were things about it that did make me laugh, and it's almost always Bobcat Goldthwait just talking.
His talking is hilarious.
Like here's a scene from near the end where the racetrack here, and I just want to play a little bit of this speech that Bobcat gives. Hold on, I'm trying to.
There, and we're gonna beat the odds, because I'm gonna get you back for everything you ever did to me and to my family. Let me tell you something about the little guy. You can only push him around and push him around until you end up backing him in the corner. And like the mighty Wolverine who will gnaw his own leg off is caught in the trap. Sooner or later, I'm gonna start gnawing my leg off. My name is no longer Fred P. What is my name? My name is Fred P. Wolverine Cheney. Because justice is finally going to be done. The little guy is finally going to whip your ass.
Like, he honestly is like, in that scene, he's almost like understandable, right? But at the same time, it's so funny. Like, obviously, that's why he was ever popular.
That's why he became popular. Exactly.
Right? Like,
that's
it's expressive and everything. But as I listen to him in more serious parts of this film, which is ridiculous that they even exist, but in moments when he's supposed to be a little more measured and everything, he still is just like I should try to do the rest of this podcast as Bobcat Goldthwait. But
I don't know if your voice can take it.
I don't think because even when he's like, there's that version of Bobcat Goldthwait, which is like the over the top, like wild, like I'm stuck in a Godzilla suit, right? But then there's the other version where he's just like, you know, I just, you know, like he's like more measured. He's like, oh, you're taking me to your family's house. And I just like, yeah, this guy is like just like incapable of just talking.
Yeah.
And you know, is that a verbal? Do you think that's a tick? Like, is part of that like Tourette's or something, or is it just show?
I think it's just a shtick, to be honest. I mean, obviously it's just a shtick. I just wonder how he came up with it. I think he just started talking like that, being an idiot about his buddies.
Have we ever heard Bobcat Goldthwait before that?
No. Well, I think. Well, he was in a movie called Shakes the Clown. I think he talks normal in that.
Here's
And he was in an episode of Tales from the Crypt where he was a failed stand-up comedian, and I think he talked kind of normally in that. And
here
he
is
was like, what did you do that?
At 20 years old, this is Bobcat on David Letterman. This is 1983.
Okay, I never heard his normal voice. So
yeah, so let's see.
Strangest comedians that we have seen in a long while. He works regularly
Wow,
at the
look at that
Comedy
hair.
Connection in Boston, Massachusetts. Also at the comic strip right here in New York City. Making his network television debut this evening. Please welcome Mr. Bob Goldthwait. Bob.
Thank you very much. It feels real good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It feels. Thank you very much. Hey, thank you very much. It feels real good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It feels real good to be here tonight. Thank you very much. I saw that. Hey, Ronald.
So is his shtick just yelling?
I guess so. Yeah, he's just yelling and.
Let's play a little more. I mean, these spots are never that long, so let's see if he ever tells a joke.
Ronald Reagan is so old. Ronald, this is a joke. Ronald Reagan is so old when he's so old. He's got jelly beans in his face. I don't get it.
Neither do I.
No. Thank you very much. My mama had a baby and its head popped off.
I don't get it. I don't understand what's happening.
No. Hey, but seriously, I'm only 19 years old and I would like to meet Jacqueline Bisset. I'm standing here right. It feels real good. It feels real good to be here tonight. What's my hair doing? My hair's got a mind of its own.
Well,
Okay.
now
I just
genuinely
found something where it stops
okay.
All right, hold on here. Let me share my screen now. I've never shared screen on this before.
Oh yeah, let me see. Give me just a second.
Oh, hold on a second. I have to stop that. I have to share system audio too. There we go.
All right, I can add
This is
that.
him on Larry King.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, hello. Weird.
Whoa!
screen.
Whoa! What's happening? I'm in the middle. I'm stuck in the middle with you.
Yeah, can you just link that to me in chat maybe, and then I can post it up.
Yeah. I can do that.
But yeah, I mean, when I listen to that, I wonder how did this guy ever
How did he get a career? What did he do?
right?
Who did he sell his soul to get a career? Because I would think even the devil would have some standards.
Right, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, because like that's your network television debut. Do you want to see, like, before we go to the clip that you sent, I would actually really like to take a look at what David Letterman says at the end of that.
Letter dude.
And so let me...
Oh, man.
All right, here we go.
Swear.
Let's...
I really wonder, like, how are the Bobcat Goldthwait?
How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Thank you for having me on the show very much.
Thank you for being here. Do you have trouble relaxing or unwinding after?
No, you want to go out? You want to go? You and me? We can go bowling. You and me?
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll go bowling.
We? I'm going bowling. home with David Letterman. My mother's gonna be really happy. You and me at a lot of green party.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Probably.
I paint. This is some paintings I did. Can you see this? Yeah. Not you.
Hold them up right over there.
This one here?
Yeah.
This is my house. Thank you very much. And this is my cat.
I don't get it. I don't get this guy. Because either he is pretending to be something that I feel is like borderline offensive, right?
Borderline. Borderline is a Madonna song. This is not aging well.
Yeah, it is. It has not aged well. That's for sure. Let's go to the link that you sent and see.
I don't know. What does it say? What does it say about me that I'm like imitating his shtick?
You directed Robin Williams in World's Greatest Dad.
Yeah.
There's an article out now about Robin Williams' roles in movies.
Right.
And they call that one of his best unsung role. They said it was not a great
People didn't see
success.
it, it was, he was my best friend. So when we went to work, I remember being very nervous, thinking,
he sounds just like
is he
himself.
going to listen to me? Am I going to say?
He does,
let's
but
do a
he's
take
not
this
like
time.
dialed
Just do it
up,
really
right?
quiet, and he'll say, I have an Academy Award and you were in Hot to Trot, but that wasn't the case at all. It was just a couple days in and we really got along really well. Something like that could probably affect a friendship, and it actually bonded us even more.
Do you know he was troubled?
Sure. I mean, Robin and I never spoke about it until recently. But I spoke with Robin almost every day, or text and stuff. We really were really close. But and I'm not a doctor, but his coroner's report said he had Lewy body dementia, which is a form of dementia. So
it said the name.
I just wish my friend didn't get sick. I was witnessing this dementia, and it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, that's a more like measured version of him, right? Like, I'm looking now to see if I can tell anything about, was he ever diagnosed with anything? Because it does sound a lot like Tourette's, and you know what I mean?
It's literally just a shtick, though. That's literally just what he does.
But it also feels so
character.
genuine at times, right? Like, it doesn't feel put on, but that's, I don't know, maybe that's the talent, but yeah, it does start to feel, especially when he starts showing his drawings and stuff, it starts to feel pretty in poor taste, right?
It really does, but it's like that was comedy back then, though. You put these quote unquote man children characters out there, and you put them in these goofy ass situations that were completely and utterly just over the top and nuts.
Yeah, it's wild. All right, let's see. Where else would we like to go here with Hot to Trot? I mean, I do want to talk about the race, which I think is just ridiculous.
Right.
Because believing that Don wins that race,
there's no way Don wins that race.
Well, no, there's not. So first of all, Don's not a racehorse, right? He's a third. Is he a racehorse? I don't know. But regardless, he's not trained.
He's just a horse.
Yeah, he's not trained.
He even says, I haven't ran since high school. I wasn't aware that horses went to high school. But
right. But I would argue that the whole plan for winning the race was for him to get up and talk shit to the other horses in the race and make them all run away or whatever, right? Which means that he had to run as fast as every horse in the race.
But then of course he's like, oh, well, I'm just going to use psychological warfare and blah, blah, blah.
Right, but that only works if you can run as fast as the other ones to catch up to them and say that stuff, right?
Right. Well, I guess
also, why is it that no one can hear him talking during that race other than the horses and your boy Bobcat? Because throughout the whole movie, other people have been able to hear him.
That's true. That is true. I mean, this movie, like I said, yeah, I know I picked this, but it's
I mean, I
it's
don't.
one of
I
those things I
honestly
think
didn't
where
hate the experience. I'm glad to have watched it. I feel my life is enriched because of it. I don't know what you want me to say.
I mean, honestly, I seriously think that this movie just this is one of those movies again where you sort of sit down with your friends and you have some drinks and you just make fun of it.
Yeah, don't watch it sober. That was my mistake for sure.
This is definitely a movie that you don't want to watch sober and with
Yeah,
not alone either.
absolutely. So let's see. Do we start to? You know what? Let's do something we haven't done this in a hot minute. Let's look at Amazon reviews
Okay, let's do that.
uh, of Hot to Trot. See if we can find any really like. Honestly, it's sporting a 4.7 on Amazon right now. So
Out of what?
um,
Out of five?
out of 5. Let's
Wow.
see. Dabney Coleman is a true butthead in this movie. 5 stars. I love this movie. It is
Okay.
hilarious. The horse's voice, John Candy, question mark, is great. Dabney Coleman and his awful wife get just what they deserve. The good guys win. Let's see. Thomas A. Warburg writes, "This is one of those hidden treasures that sticks in the back of your brain. Then one day, Bobcat Goldthwait comes up in a conversation, and Hot to Trot and God Bless America come to mind. Then look out. You can't get Bobcat out of your head." 5 stars.
Okay.
I want to find a really wild one,
Okay.
but
Yeah, it has been
that's,
since we've done this. This is fun.
yeah,
It's fun.
it is proving a little more difficult to find a truly wild review of this. Let's see. Most of them are just like, it's a classic. It reminds me of my childhood, et cetera, right? And then like the really bad reviews are pretty typically like, I got a bad DVD. 5 stars. It arrived as
I
quickly
got a
as
good
described. uh,
Yeah, it just was. Hey, it came as I expected it to, so that's awesome.
yeah, some of Goldthwait's best work. 5 stars.
Wow. Okay.
A classic, and although goofy, you have to remember why you bought it in the first place. Really enjoyed this since I know why I bought it. Kicking the bucket so you work in a high pressure environment. Mr. Ed, Dad, you're a horsefly. Small moments with consequence to, yeah, that's a really weird written, couldn't even follow it. John Candy and his greatest voiceover. I mean, I don't know what else he's
Okay.
done, but sad if that's true.
I think that's the only real voiceover work he's done.
Yeah. Classic comedy from 1988, not as bad as most people would say online. This is a must have for fans of comedies such as The Animal and Deuce Bigelow. John
Okay.
Candy and Bobcat Goldthwait are great. Dabney Coleman with the teeth and glasses will crack you up. Please see this movie. So yeah, so Bobcat Goldthwait is Rob Schneider.
Bob, I was calling him Bob Schneider.
Bob Schneider is Rob Goldthwait in
Rob Goldthwait.
Robcat Goldthwait. Let's see. You had the Rotten Tomatoes score earlier. I can't quite remember it. It seemed like
0%.
yeah, that's
Big
right.
fat 0.
Yep, Hot to Trot. Based on, you said 16 ratings, right?
Yeah.
We already
Straight
said
up 0.
we already pointed out that that it was made on a $9 million budget and only grossed 6.5 or 6.4 at the box office. So, for those of you holding out hope for a Hot to Trot 2, Hotter to Trotter, then you'll be waiting a bit longer. Probably.
Yeah.
Now, a gritty Hot to Trot reboot, maybe. Who would you cast in a gritty Hot to Trot reboot?
A gritty Hot to Trot reboot. I would cast John Barenthal as the Fred P. Cheney character.
Yeah.
And I would actually have Jason Statham voicing either the horse or a rabid Wolverine.
I like it. I like that.
And Michael Caine playing John Barenthal's stepfather.
Oh,
And his
that's good.
stepfather, and Michael Caine actually murdered Jane Judi Dench,
Oh, god damn it.
who
That
is
asshole.
who is John Barenthal's mother.
Yeah. I would watch that.
Yeah, I'll be all for it.
Let's see. How long have we been doing this? Oh, yeah. Okay. So we about 50 minutes.
You feel like we've given this way too much attention?
No, I mean, I just worry that that we haven't said enough. Is there anything else that you would like to say about Hot to Trot? Is this the hottiest / trottiest movie you've ever seen?
I mean, I've seen other films that have trotted a little bit warmer than this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I think this is probably lukewarm to Trot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it felt more like a real sludge, more than a trot.
So it's more of a lukewarm trudge.
Yeah, for sure. Lukewarm to trudge. I will say that I did like his penthouse, and I liked the statue and the disco lights, and that was cool, but seemed wasted to put it all in that little garden. I like, what did he say? That was another line that made me laugh. Whenever it showed,
What is this, a little yard?
He goes, is that
like a little yard?
That made me laugh. That made me laugh.
Oh, I had one of these at my old place.
God, that guy. All right, here's Bartender Smiley.
The Plotaholics rating system for the movies is a pretty simple system. Basically, they rate movies based on how many shots it takes to get through them. So if you got a good movie and you get through it all the way sober, then it takes 0 shots to get through the movie. And then if you got a really bad movie, then it could take up to 5 shots to get through the whole thing. I think you can try to figure out the middle part yourself. So, what can I get you?
Whoops.
I hated it.
Hated it.
I mean, thank God it was only 90 minutes, give or take. And oh, that's the other thing, is that you can tell when a movie's premise is like way too thin, when a good like 6 of the first 15 minutes are just credits without anything happening behind them.
Yeah.
Just text for 6 minutes, you know. So that's no good. It would have been really nice if we could have gotten like a Hard Ticket to Hawaii-esque theme song called Hot to Trot.
Hot to Trot.
Yeah, that's what I needed.
The horse gonna run down the street.
And if the horse had been some sort of like mutated horse, that was
a paper mache mutated horse. I want that. That's what I want in my life.
That's better. In fact, I feel like this movie is immediately better with the same exact script if the horse is just a hand puppet.
Yeah.
And not a good one.
Triumph the Insult Dog. It looks like Triumph the Insult
Right.
Dog.
It's like a rubber puppet.
Yeah. And it should rubber kick a Neil Breen stand-in in the balls.
Yeah, you never see the full horse's body. You just see rubber appendages, right? Like there's like if anybody gets kicked by the horse, it's just the foot. Like you never see the full body.
It's just a fake horse. It's just a fake horse foot.
Anytime he's riding a real horse, it's a different color than the puppet. Like
and it's obviously from like some old Western, and it's in that super fast filming, like in those old like 30s Westerns.
Yeah.
It's like exaggerated speed. Yes.
Even better would be if this movie were almost the exact same, but Bobcat Goldthwait played a person slowly losing his mind. And the horse was
normal.
The horse was just a puppet that Bobcat Goldthwait controlled, and this was a found footage documentary of a movie that Bobcat Goldthwait made in his parents' basement.
I like that.
It's a horror film then, right?
Yeah. Well, then he also sees himself like winning this horse race because he's hopped up on cocaine and freaking angel dust, and he's running against the other horses with the horse puppet in his hand. He's like,
right,
he's running
right.
super duper fast.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's a 5 for me.
Yeah, you know what? I give it a 3, and that's just for nostalgic purposes. Actually, you know what?
You just can't take the glasses off, can you?
No, because I have a thing on now. Actually, here's the thing. Honestly, I'll give it a 4 for the nostalgia and the fact that I'm probably, like, I bought this DVD, but I'm probably only going to watch it when I really want to torture Sharon.
Yeah.
But I have it just to say, yeah, I've got it. Just to say that I've got it, and I have it added to the collection.
Excellent.
Speaking of which, I also added in the same time that I purchased Hot to Trot, I purchased the Howie Mandel gem, Walk Like a Man.
You're really like digging into the archives there, huh?
Yeah, matter of fact, I have a movie in one of my playlists that's this 1986 film that's based on the Butterfly Revolution called Summer Camp Nightmare. And I found it on DVD. So I ordered it because it was like $10. So it's like, here's hoping that it gets here and it actually works. Otherwise, I'm going to be slamming the hell out of them on Amazon.
Brian, what movie are we doing next week?
Next week, we have... I think next week we're going to sort of start our spoof film block.
Okay.
And we are going to begin with I'm going to get you, sucker, you dirty mother.
Nice.
Yeah,
Shut
I
your
can't
mouth.
wait. I'm going to teach you the crime, just don't pay. Na 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 na.
So, yeah, so that should be fun at least, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think now we're going to start going into comedies that are actual comedies.
Good.
And they're
Good.
actually funny and fun. So, yeah, next week, I'm going to get you, sucker, starring Keenan Ivory Wayans, Bernie Casey, Isaac Hayes, Jim Brown, and a very young Chris Rock makes a cameo.
Nice. Well, that should be fun. That should be more pleasurable than this was.
Oh, it's going to be way more pleasurable. Instead of, a fleshlight that's lined with sandpaper, it might actually be comparable to an actual living partner.
Nice. Well, good. I can't wait to fuck this movie. Sounds like it's going to be awesome. Well, thank you guys for bearing with us if you did, because god damn, dude. Like, honestly, this movie is not available anywhere for free. I can't imagine a world where anybody really like listens to this episode or at least sticks with it for very long. Please don't go rent this movie.
Just take our word for it. It's not good. It's not good. It's a bad film. But you know what? This is also this is what we started this podcast to do at first.
It's true. I mean, this is absolutely on brand for sure.
The original on brand of the Plotaholics podcast. It was doing bad.
Yeah, but this one wasn't so bad. It was good, right? Like it firmly landed in the bad camp.
Well, it's better than anything Neil Breen has done.
I don't know. I think I enjoy those movies because they are just like fever dreams of insanity.
Well, this could be a fever dream.
I mean, it could be a fever dream, but it just didn't lean enough into the fever or the dream. Anyway, if you're still here, maybe let's save your rating and review for another week. And,
save it for next week where we do I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, you dirty mother.
And we will talk to you guys again real soon.
All right, take care, everybody.
Take a trip with us to Nilbog. Just promise not to drink the goo. Oh my God! If you get sucked into the Matrix, we will send a phone for you.
Do you believe in fate?
But every movie has a plot hole, and every hole gets filled somehow with whiskey, wine, or blue milk. Just don't cut me off right now. We're the Plotaholics, a breakfast club of two. We're the Plotaholics, ripping plots apart.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.